You're enrolled in an ethics course. Everybody is here for a reason. You don't have to tell us why you're here, but I'm going to be open up to questions at the end so that we can discuss some of your readings and you can discuss some of your concerns with the course. There's a reason you're all here, whether you think you should be or not. I'm here to help you so you're never in a situation that requires you to be in this kind of training on your own time again. I hope that when you leave here, you're going to feel like you can make better decisions under fire, rapid fire sometimes, and you're going to feel very confident in every decision that you make, that it fits the general ethical code both for the state and just for your profession. We're going to start off the first 3 hours. We're going to talk about knowing where to draw the line, which I asked you all to read, and all of you have done a synopsis of each chapter so that I know that you internalized some of the thoughts in this book. And now we're going to discuss them because sometimes when you discuss things, it brings it to the forefront of your mind, and we're going to make sure that it crystallizes for you so that once again you can make snap decisions, and any decision that you make can be made feeling good about it. The second 3 hours is going to be based on the second reading that you were asked to do, The Ethics of Teaching. Both books are excellent, and you were asked to do a chapter summary on each, and both will bring forth lots of discussion for today, and that's what we want. We want to leave here feeling very good about the decisions that we come across in the books. So what is a code of ethic? It's simple, really. It's not very glamorous or grandiose. Ethics are what good people use to make tough choices every single day, because every single day we have tough choices that we have to make, and we have to make them quickly, and we have to make them in the interest of the student. There are so many decisions we make as educators. We don't want to get caught up in the rationalization mode ever in decision making. Decisions made on, well, I deserve it, or well, it was the easiest thing to do, or well, I worked really, really hard at it, or I spent a lot of time on it. You want to avoid rationalizing any decision. For example, your sick days that you're given. The sick days, you should be thinking of it as a free insurance policy that you can use throughout your career. Sick days are not to be used to extend your weekend. That is not their purpose. That's not why your employer allows sick days. He wants you to use them when you're sick. I've heard many, many people rationalize their decisions to use sick days when they aren't sick, and that's not good quality ethical behavior, and it is not something that your superintendent would appreciate. It is not something that your board would appreciate. That kind of thinking, I deserve it, or rationalizing it, violates the very core of values, norms, mores, and principles, and ethics. And those are some of the things that we're going to discuss today, so that you don't ever find yourself thinking in a rationalization, I deserve it mode. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to a different topic. I'm going to borrow from our Canadian neighbors regarding electronic communication and social media. As educators, we have to be very careful and very diligent to distinguish between personal and private use in electronics and social media. Probably the best suggestion that I can give you that came from actually both books is that before you send anything or do any kind of social media, you should ask yourself, am I doing this so that I feel better, or am I doing this for the betterment of the student that I'm working with? If the answer is because it makes you feel better, you're getting something from the communication that is not educational, then don't do it, because that's not your purpose. The purpose in communicating with students is not so you feel better, it is for the student to improve or for the student betterment. Don't make yourself vulnerable by sending electronic messages that you do not want to be seen on CNN or the Times or worst of all, your superintendent. You don't ever want to be faced with that decision or that consequence. Once you have sent it electronically, it's there forever. So we're going to use good judgment in all our social media connections. When active in school, there are policies for everything. When you're active in the school, you coach, you're in charge of an activity, a band, anything like that. There are policies for everything. Decisions don't have to be yours ever. There's a policy written for every single thing that you can think of that will cover you in school trips. Before making any school trip, you should review your school policies. You should know your board policy. Before doing a fundraiser, know your board policy. Know the Red Book. Know how that is the rules on collecting and keeping the money with any kind of fundraising activity. All the rules for anything that you ask me today can be found in your school policies and can be found in the Red Book. There's no reason for you to guess, and there's no reason for you to ever make a bad choice or a choice that you cannot be backed up by your superintendent in. You do not have to sit and read all the policies, but if a situation arises, you need to know where to look for the answer. And isn't that what we teach our kids? You don't have to know everything, but you need to know where to go look for that answer. So look, know the answer, and know how your board's going to respond, and know that your board is always going to err on the side of extreme caution and what is best for a student. So you need to have that premise in your head the whole time, what is best for the student and what is the board going to support. There are people to help you make good decisions. There always is someone that is willing to answer a question. If it's travel, money, whatever your question is, go to your supervisor, get the answer, don't guess. That's why policies are written for you so that good decisions are always made. All right, I've been talking a lot. We've talked a lot about the book and the chapters. Now I want to hear from you. So you do not have to give me anything specific to your situation. That's nobody's business. We're covering all angles, and if you have some questions that may or may not be specific to you, we're just going to all assume they're not specific to you, then go ahead and ask them and we can all discuss them as a group. Yes?
Kim, I've got a question about sick days. Why can't I use sick days to do something else? I mean, they give them to me.
I understand. And that is a very common thought. But they give them to you with the expectation that you are ill when you use them. The expectation of any employer is that you're at work every day unless something prevents you from being there. So if you look up your own policies in your own district, I'm sure they're going to tell you what your sick days are to be used for, the same as emergency days. Emergency days are very well spelled out in the Policies and Procedures Manual. Yes?
Can I borrow school property for personal use?
No, that is not good practice. School property belongs to the taxpayers and the children of that building. If you are carrying it out of the building, the expectation is that you are taking it from the building permanently. Once again, your district may have a different policy. They may even have a sign-out procedure for you. If they have a sign-out procedure for equipment, which I doubt very seriously, because equipment is very valuable and everybody it should be used for the students in that building, but you need to check your own policy. But I would tell you not to do it unless they have a very specific procedure in which to do it. Check it out. Yes?
Dr. Banta, as far as texting, if parents know that I'm texting their child and we are friends, why does it matter?
It matters because you are the person in authority, you are the teacher, you are the person that they trust, and that student has their trust in you. Don't blur the boundaries. Don't text them. Just keep it on a very teacher-student level, no matter what parents think. There's also parents that think that we get paid way too much money. Do you want to listen to their opinions? No. We go back to our code of ethics, which you're the teacher, you're in the supervisory role. It doesn't matter whether parents know it or not. Yes?
I'm a coach. I work a lot of hours for nothing. I pay myself a per diem in the summer for my fundraising efforts. That's okay, right?
No. Most districts have an hourly that are paid for after school activities. As a coach, you're paid a salary. Outside of your coaching season, when you're running camps and doing things like that, I would be surprised that you aren't, volunteering to do that, because I think that the whole point is to build your own base for your own athletes. But if you did pay yourself, you need to go back to the school policy. You need to look and see what they pay people for after school tutoring. What is the natural rate per hour, and it is not per diem, I'm sure. Anything else? Yes.
As far as fundraising, why can't I deposit the fundraising money in my personal account? Even if I'm using it for the kids.
I understand that, and that's great, but the school system does not have access to your personal account. You're the only person that has access to that personal account. If you're depositing school funds, there's no one watching to make sure that those school funds are paid for properly. You are inviting trouble into your own house by doing that. You need to deposit it with your bookkeeper. You need to follow the school and the board policy for depositing money and taking care of fundraisers. Don't put yourself in the position of being accused of stealing. And that's exactly what you're setting yourself up for. Yes?
I had a case where a student asked me for money. Why can't I loan money to a student?
This is a hard one because, teachers are good people and they want to do nice things and they want to help. The problem with loaning students money is it kind of comes down to a quid pro quo thing. It's not recommended because once you do that, it makes it look like now the student owes you something, and that you don't want to be put in that position. As hard as it is, it would be better to go to your school and find out what help there might be for the student and work through the school rather through your own pocketbook. I guess what I always tell people is parents love you as long as they're not mad at you. And once they get mad, they can use things that you do that you may have done just to be a great person, and you are a great person, but those things can get you into trouble, and you don't want to be in a quid pro quo relationship with a student. Yes?
As far as respect, I've had this happen a couple times. If a student is disrespectful to me, I don't understand why I have to be respectful to them. I mean, we are not punching bags to these kids.
I understand, and if in working in personnel and as a high school principal, I heard that a lot, but here it is. You're the college-educated professional. We're the grown-ups. We're paid to be there, and we're there to help them. You don't know whether that kid didn't eat in the morning. You don't know whether that kid got knocked around by his parents. You have no idea where that child is coming from, but you know where you came from that day, and you got up from your bed and your house, and you got to eat breakfast, and you got to come to work. We're the adults. They are in our protective care. If they're disrespectful, you need to handle it in the manner that your school principal wants you to handle it. If that's a write-up, that's great, but you do everything in a respectful manner, in a respectful tone, and you always leave the student with dignity. Okay, guys. Is everybody good? Any more questions? Okay, guys, thank you so much for your attention today. It was a pleasure working with you. I loved your ideas and your thoughts. I hope that everything we've done today has helped you. Remember that ethics are just helping good people make tough choices every day. Don't get caught in rationalization in your decisions. And always distinguish between personal and private reasons for any kind of communication that you have with students, parents, and know the policies for any activity that you are going to personally engage in your district. With those said, because those are the biggies for me with this group, I just want you to know that you can contact me anytime that you need to. Once again, Kim Banta, Kenton County Schools. You can contact me, my email, or you can contact me at the board office, and you don't have to tell me who you are. You can just ask your question, and I'll give you the best answer based on the books that you already own, and you've already read, and you've already done chapter summaries on, but we can discuss it, work through it, and come up with the best answer for you and your situation. Thanks. Have a great day.